good with YouTube, you already know Big Flaco from a convict perspective. You already know what time it is coming, directly from the Pima County Jail. Unfortunately, but hey, we heading upstate pretty soon. Send my salutes and respects to everybody out there, as I'm going to smash, dash, and slide on through with a whole lot of energy. So please hit the like, subscribe, comment, do all those things to help support the channel, and hit that bell notification for future fire content. So I got M-Star Media,
Hello.
from M-Star Media and ACP. I got Mad Max, associates of the ACP channel. They're here joining me because we got an interesting topic. It's about victims. And I want to ask, someone who's never been convicted of a crime, understands the system, but has really never been convicted of a crime, what is their opinion on victims?
I believe that, there are some people who are victimized, and there are others that they kind of put themselves in situations that, there's risk. And so are they truly a victim or just a circumstance of, an event?
Yeah, I'm going to use two examples. One myself, but I'm going to use my situation. Person posed a threatened me, jumped up and stepped with something in his hand. Right? How is that a victim? Defending yourself. I've been out there on the streets, right, doing whatever I'm doing, and I've had people pull whatever I mean with guns. I've been jumped at. I've done all kinds of stuff, right, and I've never labeled myself as a victim just because I'm out there doing no good myself. I'm putting myself in those situations. I'm the one making unhealthy choices, therefore the consequences that come from that life, whether, like, for instance, I'm doing time right now, right? I got a time I'm doing. I'm not a victim of this. Even though I feel I have justified with my shooting case, I still got to realize that I was moving a lot of fentanyl. You know what I'm saying? So I don't look at myself as a victim of the system right now or anything like that, nor did I look at the individual that I shot as a victim. He was living in that lifestyle. He was doing up to no good. He was a dirtbag. He was boosting. The female was over there trying to run scams, through grants that they were given to Native Americans to establish, homes for SLE homes and stuff, where they were getting the funding. And there was a big scandal about that in Phoenix. It was all over the fucking news. And, this person was involved in that. So I didn't look at them as victims. They were living that life. When you live that life, you live by the trigger, you die by the trigger. If you're living that life, and this is the truth, and I'll tell anybody this, okay, anybody's capable of pulling a trigger. But if you're living that life, you have to be willing to pull that trigger as well. And that's the truth, because you never know what may happen. You can become a victim. So we may be telling a different story if I didn't react the way I reacted in my situation, okay? My son had a situation. He let a whole bunch of people in, was good-hearted. They were outside, thought that they were all on the same fucking page. But, all of a sudden he has a house. They ended up finding a way, looking for a reason, to attack him. You know what I'm saying? And he ended up getting stabbed up. You know what I'm saying? And those are the situations that, unfortunately, that you never know what can happen if we put ourselves in that life. Like I said, I feel bad for those that are on death row who killed someone and it was gang-related. I really do. Or if it was some type of a conflict out there. I just did an episode about the VGF and the dude was out there ready to kill him. It's hard to not react like that. And I don't look at people as victims if you're living that life. If I'm living that life, I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim because I got to be time. I was out there doing the things I was doing, and I accept that,
Absolutely, bro. I feel like, living that life, we know we're taking penitentiary chances. We know we're risking our lives, putting ourselves in situations that, they could go left at any moment. And in your situation that you brought up, your so-called victim, he was the aggressor. Luckily you turned it around where you didn't get victimized. But like you said, it could have went way differently. Shit could have been over for you. You know what I'm saying? And those are risks we take.
A couple times,
Right, yes.
I had a gun. People forget. I almost, this is just because these are not the only incidents that have happened out there, you know, and I would just say that I was on the winning end of every one, every type of situation, and you know, I don't look at, you know, I look at as a victim, as that punk kid or that dope fiend that goes and robs that old lady that's walking down the street. You know what I'm saying? I look at that as that lady's a victim. You know what I'm saying? Or some innocent child where someone does something to them. That's a victim, you know? Or a woman who can't defend herself and is just beaten day in and day out by her old man. Those are victims. Those are, you know, to me, a victim is someone who can't stand up for themselves or defend themselves or in a situation. You know, not those that try to create a scenario and then they get their shit fucking plucked or they get their shit fucking stuck. They're not victims. They put themselves in that situation and in fact, they incited it. So I've always felt that there's a difference between, you know, I don't like people who victimize regular citizens that are just doing their job out there. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
100%. Yeah, like we can't.
You know, so
like, we make the choices. We know what the risk, you know, what the potential consequences are. So if we end up in jail or prison, that's a risk we knowingly took. So it's like, I don't like when people cry about the time they got. It's like, dude, don't do the crime. You know, everyone knows that.
yeah. You know, now there's some situations that are unfair. My situation is unfair. I should have been able to go to trial on my case, right? But fuck it, it worked this way out the way it did, and for whatever reasons, it is what it is, and I can't sit there and complain about it myself. But you know, there's a difference. So it just makes me realize, because like I remember hearing, I'm hearing in my situation, I'm hearing the DA in my sentencing, and they're like, we spoke with Mr. Molina several times, and you know, I know how this affected him so bad. And he's lived a hard life, and he's in prison right now. And I'm like, yeah, not only was he in prison, he was fucking trying to run the friendship for the Chicanos where I was at, a place where I came later, where he was trying to run shit for the Chicanos, you know, and went back out there and was still doing the same things he was doing after he got shot. You know, I remember seeing him in what do you call court, right? And him walking by talking shit, right? You know, in front of the DA. And then I get word from someone that was housed with him, and they're telling me, oh, he says he's going to get you. Well, fuck, you already got me. He fucking told. You know, how you going to get me fucking on any level of the street, bro? Like, when you already got plugged and got laid down. But that's what I'm saying, the difference between victims and someone that maybe, hey, they're in that life and they maybe have it coming. You know what I'm saying? Now, nobody should be subjected to any violence. Don't get me wrong. I don't condone or promote violence, okay? And this is why I hope people don't put themselves in these situations. That's part of this channel. I can't stop you from doing what you're going to do if you're going to do it, man. You know, there's a lot of kids I would like to talk to at a young age and try to prevent them from making these choices, right? But some of us that do turn into the channel, you know, have already, you know, partook in that life. You know what I'm saying? And just like I said, don't put yourself in these situations, because at the end of the day, violence is only supposed to be meant to protect yourself. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference between when it starts to become into, you know, trying to put people down because they're in opposition or they're in the way of your business. There's no reason, you know, that's not a justified reason, you know? And there really is none. You know what I'm saying? It's about doing good, you know, and we all make mistakes. But even in my situation, okay, a regular John Doe can get put in the same situation, man. You never
Absolutely.
know. And by all means, you know, there's a difference. I don't look at these people that got shot. Well, you know, I look at one as being an unfortunate bystander, because, you know, I mean, not every day does someone shoot two people with one bullet, you know, and I had no intentions of you know, the girl getting shot, but, you know, I feel bad about that, you know what I'm saying, because she didn't, you know, present herself as such, right? Even though she wasn't living her right life, doesn't mean that she had that coming. But that's the collateral damage is living that lifestyle. You know, I've been shot before. I've been stabbed. You know what I'm saying? I've been fucking, you know what I'm saying, rushed at with fucking baseball bats and fucking pots and pans and shit. You know what I mean? And, you know, and I'm always, and that's rare for that to happen to me. And every time it's only happened to me maybe like 2 times, maybe my whole life. You know what I'm saying? I've always been one to react. And when you've been taught that way since I was fucking out on the streets and stuff, and in prison, you know, the thing that you got to take pride in is you never victimize people that are outside that life. It's almost like you're living in a own little society, right? And everybody that's in it, everybody else is just far away from it. You know what I'm saying? You're in that life. This is the world that you're living in, and you're you're just in a different zone, you know. Yeah, it's just a and living that life knows exactly what I'm talking about, man. And I don't think anybody that's living that life is a victim, you know. Yeah, I really don't. If someone decides to fuck you because you're over there pushing up on some business, that's you're not a victim. You know what the game is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You disrespect someone and they come and try to take you out. You knew what you had coming. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you got the wrong dude's lady. You know what I'm saying? And he decides to come and show you what he's about. You got that coming. You're not a victim. You put yourself in those situations. There's a difference between, you know, being a regular citizen walking down the street and some punks go over there and try to, you know, rob some old man or just whoever, right? Purse snatching and shit like that, right? You know, or people, you know, going on people's properties and taking shit while people are asleep and people taking packages and stuff like that. You know, that's the scandalous nature of life and the lifestyle nowadays, man. And the drugs don't help it. You know. You know what I'm saying? I'm not better than any other individual, man, but, you know what I'm saying? And I realize some of the crimes that I've done or the things I've done have affected communities in different ways, you know? With the fentanyl and stuff like that, and, you know, pushing weight my whole life, bro. It's never slow. When I start to move things, it's never ever slow is all I'll say. You know, and it's just, you know, fuck, the last year and a half was really crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of stuff people thought they knew and claimed they knew, and, you know, I would put out false information a lot of times just to fucking, you know, to distract things, man, at times, man, because, like, you know, it's weird because I was getting so much heat and so much stuff, and I was really doing a lot of stuff I shouldn't have been doing, right? And I'm like, fuck, man, these dudes are kind of fucking, you know what I'm saying? They're basically dry snitching on me for some, you know what I mean? People were dry snitching in the things I was doing, and that's shit. But that's me. I put myself in that situation, you know, for people to do that. I'm not going to cry victim on anything like that, you know. And there's a lot of people who, you know, I see it all the time. People don't want to sit there and set the consequences for their crime. They're worried about doing 2-4 years, and I'm like, dude, then what the fuck are you even in here for, man? Like, you know, what are you crying about? You was out there doing no good. You was out there doing a crime. You know what I'm saying? Now you're worried about how much time you get? Fuck, bro, like. You know, there's people really that are catching time, you know, and some of us may never even come home again. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the nature of the lifestyle. And there's a difference between victims.
Yeah. It's being accountable for oneself. And a lot of people don't like to take that accountability. And it's a hard thing to do, but it's the right thing to do, you know. And I've just got to say that last night I was doing a cop watch and I stopped to talk to a couple of the deputies because the gang violence in our neighborhood is getting really bad. We've had some teenagers lose their lives, 2 because of gang violence, 1 because he was just acting out, but he was part of one of the local gangs here. And so it's kids, you know, that are, you know, are they really victims, or are they victims of the lifestyle they chose? You know, it's all about choices and accountability, in my opinion.
And that's hard, though, when they're that age, though. You know what I mean? When you look at it at that age, I just think about how naive to the world we are, you know, and our thinking process is so immature at that time, man. Like, you know, what you're telling me, you know, when I see kids out there, man, like, I feel like the system fails them. I feel like, you know, their family fails them. I feel like a whole lot of people fail them. And I look at them as a victim to, you know, a victim to society not paying attention to what they should be doing, man. And that's been happening for years. You know, I was taken aback and I thought about it, man. And you know, all my crimes, any way you look at it, right, were somehow influenced by drugs somehow, right? How many people out there do we know who've had issues with drugs or these problems have ever got help? I've never been offered a program. I only got a program when my son got taken by CPS is when I went to a program. So my whole life, I never ever got an opportunity to ever try to fix myself until my son got took. And that's when I was able to start fixing myself. And that's why I do have some tools to use to get back on track. I look at these kids. I don't look at them when they shoot each other as victims as amongst each other. They're a victim to the gang. They're a victim to the society. They're a victim to what they're taught. They're a victim to their surroundings. You know, people, places, and things will dictate how you live or what you want to be. You know, you don't just come into this world and say, oh, you know what, I want to be a gangster. Or, you don't just come in this world, oh, I want to be a player. All those things are they're self-taught through others. You know, you self-learn through the actions of other people. around you and what you gravitate towards. They live in, they go to church sometimes. Sometimes they don't, but they're active and they're positive. They're in activities. You see two different kids than a kid that doesn't really have anybody there. And a lot of these kids that are gang banging, they're gravitating towards that lifestyle because they need something. They want to be a part of something. They're not recognized in the home. They're like the silent child. The silent child is one of the most deadliest ones because you don't know what the hell's going on in their head.
Absolutely. I know one in particular, and his acting out. I think that the biggest role in his life is his home life, is his parents. Like you said, not getting the attention, the love, the affection that he necessarily needs, and so he's looking elsewhere, and it's causing him problems.
Yeah. I'm a prime example of that. That's what gravitated me towards that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Just the popularity of things. We kind of we popularized the wrong things. You know what I'm saying? Like even with rap music and stuff, we popularized mistreating women and fucking women being out there just exposing themselves and all kinds of shit. So that just comes natural behavior. It takes a while to really explore the world and to really see things in different perspectives. You have to be analytical. You can't just look at things through one lens. You got to sit there and just try to, look at things in a different perspective to see the true life behind the scenes.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I think this was good on victims, man. I mean, my final note is this: I just partly because of my case, right? But I see it all the time, right? Not everybody, just because someone gets victimized, I guess you can call it, jack, jump, shot, or whatnot, right? Not everybody that happens to, in my eyes, is a victim. If you're living that life, this is what you should expect. You know what I'm saying? You're expected for this to happen. Like I said, if you're going to be in the game on any level, people always say, anybody can pull a trigger. Anybody is physically capable to pull the trigger. But are you willing to pull that trigger? Are you willing to do that time? Are you willing to try to take that life? And those are the questions that people don't realize that it's about, man. You know what I mean? It's about survival. You're going to do that time on your chin. That's the truth. And that's really what it boils down to. And that's what's so fucked up is that we have just a cycle. The insanity continues in our communities, and that's where we, I think, as the ones that are coming out, have to be better examples, have to sit there, don't do what I do. Like I say, like some of the things I talk about, what I personally do from time to time doesn't mean I would suggest anybody else to do it. I don't promote or condone any violence for anybody, but, I will keep it real and raw, and I will tell you how I'm feeling at the moment. My emotions are very being in here and going through a lot of personal stuff, and so sometimes my thinking today of how I think on things, I may not think like this 3 years from now, or 5 years from now, or a year from now, but for the time being, this is how I'm feeling. And with that said, this is your boy Flaco, M-Star Media, my boy Max, we out.
Bye-bye.